Thank you for tuning in to another episode of RIA Collective. I'm your host, as always, Charlie Van Derven, and I got a great guest today that has a story that's awesome, and I'm excited to tell. Today, I'm joined by Andree Mohr. Andree is the president of Integrated Partners, a large firm. We were just talking 250, 275 advisors, and a lot of management team also, large LPL OSJ. And Andree, I am so stoked to have you here. And more than that, not more than that, but in addition to that, I'm super excited for you to tell your story because I don't know anybody who starts in this industry as a PR intern and has a meteoric rise to president of a firm like Integrated Partners. Buckle in. This one's going to be good. Andree, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I may have to make up some things so it sounds a little bumpier and more exciting.
I doubt that. I'll bet you there's a lot of excitement in there. So how does that happen? Andree, you're 17 years old, you're a PR intern. First, what draws you to financial services at 17 years old? What made this industry exciting for you?
So I'm very lucky where our chief compliance officer at Integrated Partners today, actually, I have known for most of my life, actually. And so as I was in college in Boston, I went to her office to see her. And she was the head of operations for an RIA. And I got to see how she was helping people. And something that I have always valued is helping others. And this industry is amazing because we can do good and we can do well. And that's what initially got me into the industry, was seeing how she was helping the advisors, how they were ultimately helping clients live a life that is fulfilling. And so because I was in PR back then, I started working for their marketing team. My third day of college, they hired me, and here I was trying to create marketing brochures for the RIA. No idea what I was doing,
I do what
but
that is
loved
doing.
it so much because also the passion that people in our industry have for this industry.
I love that because it brings up a couple things. One of the reasons we put this podcast together is because we might have talked about it in our kind of prep call that financial services is actually fourth least trusted industry in the US, right? And so I launched, and maybe you stole that phrase from me. I think I stole it from somebody else, so it's okay. But I launched like a LinkedIn interview series for a while called Doing Well by Doing Good. And it was trying to combat those trust issues by highlighting advisors. It wasn't about their business, but what are you doing in your community that's making a difference? We're on the same page there.
I might have stolen it from you, but all good things are just repurposed from others.
I'll tell you, I stole it from my friend Matt Pullman, who, if I know Matt, probably stole it from somewhere else.
There you go.
Yes, it wasn't mine to begin with, so that's all right. So we get to share it. One of the cool things you said in our prep call was it wasn't like we were talking about the independent route in this industry, and you focused on the fact that it's not really about independence as a business model as much as it's about independence as the advisor's ability to write your business to the best benefit of your clients versus what another firm's telling you have to do. I want to ask kind of Andree, like working that into why independence matters.
I think it's so important because as an individual, you have to be convicted in what you are doing. If you really want to do well and help clients live a life that is fulfilling, you have to be convicted in your system and your process. And what's amazing about independence is it allows you to do that. You get to decide as an advisor, what do you want from yourself? What do you want to deliver to your clients? And who do you want to serve? And then once you know those three things, you can go serve them exceptionally well because you get to make decisions that are in the best interest of those clients. You don't have to worry about conflicting priorities from what somebody else is telling you to do because that is what drives their balance sheet and shareholder return, whatever the case may be. You get to do what is uniquely you and what is right for you. But it also allows advisors to build a story and live a life that they have chosen for themselves. And that's where I love independence. There's pros and cons to everything in life. Independence comes with significant choice and a lot of things to think about. And so that's why the beauty of our industry is there's multiple paths for independence. But our belief is that if you truly want to serve your clients and do what is ultimately best for them, you must come at it from an independent mindset.
I agree. I feel like the word fiduciary is thrown around a lot in a marketing way, even from large firms that clearly the client, I hate to say this, but clearly the client is not first. The shareholders become first. The advisor maybe is second. And so I feel like that as pure as the industry wants to be, I feel like that word fiduciary is just used in almost as a marketing term more than anything else at this point.
Yeah, this industry loves a marketing term to like really get behind and then create trends around it. And I think that's what creates advisors being seen as a commodity.
Yeah.
Part of the reason of mistrust of advisors is because of the advisors from the 80s and getting rid of that common language that makes everybody look and sound the same because that's language our industry uses. That is where I think advisors miss when they go and try to connect with their end clients. And so in the world of independence, like sometimes I think fiduciary should be replaced with independence because that's really what it is. In independence, you get the ability to choose what is best. Now, I think most people today are acting in the best interest of their end client, but there is sometimes something behind the scenes that sways decisions one way or the other. But I would agree with you about that word. I think it's overused and it now tends to commoditize people in our space.
That poll that I grabbed that stat from, the fourth least trusted, is from 2023. It's a Gallup poll, and they actually call advisors stockbrokers still in 2023. And the industry has tried so hard to become financial consultants and then financial advisors to get away from that stuff. Our public still kind of thinks of the industry in that way when we know the world has changed dramatically, especially with this huge move to independence that we've seen over the last, 10, 12, 15 years, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think something I love about integrated in that really got me committed to our story and our vision is leading with planning. Because I think when you still lead with investments or lead with products, it brings you into that stockbroker mentality, even though that's truly not who you are. And so we can change the name as much as we want to, but it's more changing the process and how we engage. And so when you lead with planning, there is really nothing about investments until later on in the process. But when you're starting to, from the perspective of what do you want from yourself, how can I help you live a life that is fulfilling and reach your goals, it's a whole different mindset than what you would get with somebody who led as a stockbroker.
Integrated Partners is lucky to have you, Andree. What a great viewpoint. What a great outlook. All right, let's transition a little bit. When you bring on an advisor, or I'm sure you're talking to a lot of advisors who have not quite made the jump to independence yet, what do you find are some of the misconceptions for someone who's at that wirehouse, what they think independence is versus what you know it to be?
I think one of the things is sometimes people think independence is the Wild West and that, oh, you can do all of these things in independence. And it's no, the rules are still the same.
Right.
The rules are the rules. It is mostly the policies, procedures, and the storytelling that is different and the mindset. And so the first thing that we try to do is help people understand who they want to be and what they want to do in their business, and then determine if they are a right fit for integrated or independence. Because sometimes people say, I just want to be out of this structure, but then they go and jump into a very similar structure. And so understanding what you want to do and how you want to grow your business is important to making that independent step, because it's not that there are less rules here. There's just a different way of operating here. And that's really exciting. But the other thing is, once you get to independence, there's so many choices and decisions that need to be made. You go from being an advisor to truly being a business owner, where you have to hire your own staff and negotiate your leases and do billing and all of these different things. And as you think about how you do that, do you want to build it on your own? Do you want to partner? Do you want to outsource? And so there's so many different options to independence, which I think is great because people get to choose their own adventure. But I do think it's important to have somebody that can help you navigate those decisions.
Yeah, I interviewed somebody a few years ago. I don't remember who it was exactly. And they told me that their jump from that wirehouse role that they were in, the branch manager used to scare them by saying, "What do you want to have to fix your own printer?" That was the big fear, right? But that tiny thing tells a much bigger story where when you're in that role with all that backing of a large firm, you can be incredibly focused on your clients. You can be incredibly focused on growing your business. So I think that would just breeds that fear that, oh my gosh, when I leap out of this environment, now I've got to do all these other things, like your billing and like you're paying your assistant when it was coming out of your production prior, or just whatever those different roles are that is tackled by a back office. Tell me how integrated helps fill that gap for advisors that have that fear of, oh my gosh, my role is going to change because now I've got to run a business versus running a book.
And that's really what we're known for. We are known for helping entrepreneurial minded advisors thrive. And we use the word thrive because I think that there are goals that you accomplish as a business owner, which are important and accomplishments, and you feel fulfillment from that. But then there's also living a life that is fulfilling. And so there you've got personal aspirations. You and I are going to start running after this call. And so we want an advisor to understand that those two things can come together and that you can blend the personal and the professional so you can truly thrive. And that's where we love to help people come on to the independence platform, because what I think is so great about independence is that planning first mindset and the ability to access planning expertise and implementation techniques that maybe you can't get at a different institution. And so the ability to serve clients, I think, is much more flexible on the independent side because you have access. And we've always focused on creating a firm that is expert coordinators of experts. And so what we do is we take advisors through a process where we truly get to understand their why. Why are they doing this? What do they want for themselves? What is their vision for their business? And then how do we surround them with the right technology, support, and systems to allow them to get there? And what's cool about integrated is it's not the same for every advisor. So while underlying, right, everybody needs a CRM, everybody needs to do this, everybody needs workflows, but they're still not the same for every single advisor. So we work with them to coach and customize so they can have these ideal outcomes for their business.
Awesome. I love it. Traditionally, I can't tell you that everybody who listens to this show isn't a captive advisor aspiring for that independent role, but I know a lot of people are. I hear that's feedback I get. If you've got any advice for advisors at a big firm that are looking to make that leap because the big firm doesn't fit their direction, doesn't fit their mindset anymore, what are some of the things that they should be thinking about, even say 3, 6, 12 months in advance of making that change? Any advice you might have around that?
Yeah, my first piece of advice is to understand, why do you want to do this? What about where you are today isn't allowing you to achieve your goal? And then go and talk to a few people that you can learn from and understand what they do before you ultimately make a decision. And try to talk to people at varying levels of independence so that you can then make the right decision for yourself. But if you don't know your why, you can't make a decision that is going to ultimately help you get there.
I love that because when I ask a question like that, usually it's tactical. Usually it's here's the things not to do. Don't do this so you don't get sued. That's usually what comes out when I ask that question. And yours is so much more poignant, softer, I would say, but so much more poignant to whether that move is even right for them. It's not even, let's worry about how to make that move later, but first, is this the right move?
Yes, because if you don't understand that, like all of those tactical things, if you find the right partner or outsource, they're all going to tell you what to do there, right? Like that's not all that different. We have to follow, we're not a highly regulated industry. We have to follow the same steps. But if you don't know why you're doing this, then you're going to get there and not necessarily be happy and then go have to do it again. And transitioning is highly disruptive. It's emotional, it's time consuming, it's stressful. And so you don't want that many periods of disruption in your business. And so you've got to understand why first before you go and execute on it. So you know that it is hopefully a decision that you can stay for quite some time.
Awesome insight. Andree, I've got two more questions for you. The second one's the most important one.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. First one is, if we've got anybody listening that resonates with you, resonates with your portrayal of integrated, are you good? Are you okay being a resource to them?
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to always be a resource to anybody.
Cool. You're on LinkedIn pretty actively, right?
I am. I have a
Okay.
wonderful team that helps me with that. How's that?
Very
But yes, I
cool.
am active on LinkedIn.
All right, very cool. So you can find Andree on LinkedIn, and it's Andreemohr. She's not a difficult person to find. All right, here's the important question. That one was important too. All of them been important, but this one's so important. And only because you let the cat out of the bag that we're going to start running after this. Are you going to be my accountability partner? Because I need some. If we didn't tell anybody, I wouldn't have anybody to be responsible to, but accountability partners.
You got it. That would probably be my second piece of advice to anybody transitioning to is to like find an accountability partner where whether it's like your spouse, your somebody on your team, whoever it is. But yes, I got you. Accountability
All
partner.
right, very cool. And you too.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Goes both ways.
Goes both ways, of course. Andree Mohr, thank you so much. I love your stories. 17-year-old PR intern to president of Integrated Partners. How awesome is that? Your insight is very different. Like I said, so many of these interviews are tactical, and certainly the tactics matter. But if you don't know why you're making the move, don't make the move, because to your point, you're likely to lose some of your clients along the way, right? Typically, not everybody comes with. It takes a lot of time. It's very stressful. You've got to end old relationships, and that's not easy at all on both sides of that. Andree, thank you for that insight. It's different than most of the people that I get to interview.
I appreciate you having me and allowing me to share.
Yeah, for sure. And anybody who's spending your time listening to RIA Collective, thank you so much. On behalf of my new friend, Andree Mohr, I'm Charlie Van Derven. Reach out to either of us if we can be of assistance to you. We just appreciate you listening in. And of course, like the kids say, subscribe, share it, like it, whatever you do.